Morning everyone, my name is Audrey. I'm stitchywitch42. Sunday morning I am working on my Alphonse Mucha. And a while back I had said that I had needed to add a second layer of fabric. Right down here is the bottom of the piece of Aida, the original piece of Aida, and I had to stitch on a second piece of Aida here. When I did that, I took the time to line up the holes on my Aida so that it would make it somewhat easier for me when I got down to the point where I'm stitching through the two layers. The reason for doing that is because the original piece of fabric would have been only about 6 rows from the edge of the finished stitching to the edge of the fabric, and I didn't think that it would be enough for my framer to work with to frame this piece. And since I have invested 4 years in this piece, I wanted to make sure that she had enough fabric to work with. So, trying to make sure I'm in screen here because I have my camera set up at a strange angle. This bottom row of black that I am stitching, when I am coming up to do the top corner, I am coming up through a single layer of fabric. But this bottom stitch down here, I'm actually going through the top of the bottom layer of stitching. And it is relatively easy to do the stitching between the two layers. It slows me down just a little bit. This top row of stitching seems to be the easiest of stitching between the two layers, and that might be because part of it is just a single layer of fabric and the other side is, or the bottom side of that row is 2 layers. I don't know, but it's working and I'm happy. I'm happy with how it's going. It has been relatively easy to do. So I just wanted to come on this morning and share it with you that if you have to add fabric to your original piece, it is doable. I think that doing it with Aida is definitely easier than if I had to do it on a linen. But since I don't do full coverage on linen, I don't know if that's an issue that I would run into. I know that there are projects out there that working on linen, you stitch on 2 different types and then sew them together. I actually have a couple of those in my stash, and I may be trying to do that myself sometime next year when I get done with these. But I just wanted to share with you this morning that if you need to add an extra layer of fabric to your original piece, especially if it's Aida, that it is something you can do. Now, coming up from the bottom through the 2, I do have to finagle it a little bit to get that stitch to come up, because right there I'm going through 2. This time I'm going down through 1. But it's easy to do. You just have to work a little bit slower. And I also thought, can I turn it over here and get it in screen? This is what it looks like on the back. You can see where I've come up with my needle right here. I'm coming up through the second layer of Aida. I don't know how easy that's going to be easy to see on the screen. But then when I go down, I'm going to be going through the single layer here. This is what my back looks like, stitching through 2 layers of Aida to get my Alphonse Mucha finished. So I just thought that I would share that this morning, and I'll catch you on my next regular video. Until then, live long and stitch on, my friends. Bye-bye.